think back over the last 25, 30 years of the great moments when it comes to our game, it's his voice that is wrapped around it.
Marshall skips away, Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside, now inside. Richards pursued, he pushes Jensen away. Pat Richards has scored a magnificent try. Length of the field stuff. Down the blind, Andrew John. Inside for Albert. Albert will score. Newcastle have won the grand final.
We played Canberra in '94 and Brett Mullins just tore us to bits. I just remember him screaming, Mullins, Mullins.
Now Mullins opens up again. Oh, look at him go. He beats O'Davis on the outside and away he goes again. Brett Mullins scores his second 90-metre try. How good is this bloke? Here goes Mullins again. Mullins gets his third try and 16 for the year.
Well, there's a try actually I scored. It was on an Anzac Day and I went through and Rabs, in his Rabs voice, said, "Age shall not weary them."
Now FITTLER. Puts on the step, goes right through, puts on the step again. Oh, go Freddie, that was magnificent stuff. Well, age shall not weary them.
Here's a part of our memory and our mind when we think of the game that has given us so much. Better than anybody else is his range. He knows when to be low, when to go high, but he leaves himself that little bit. If there's the ultimate excitement, he can go high again.
Floats the pass for Renoff. Renoff down the touchline. Beats one, gets it in field. Hancock gets it on. Queenslander coming back. Darren Smith for Langer. Langer gets it away. Here's the big fella. Gets the pass on. Coyne goes for the corner. That's not a try, that's a miracle. Queenslander in front now.
He's the best. The one thing about Rabs is I've never heard him be negative on a player. It's quite an art, given he says so much during a game. I think that's what sets him apart from everyone.
It looks to me as though it's taken the steelwork. This is a horror movie.
Wow.
What else can this grand final provide?
Rabs, what do you call that haircut? If you went to the hairdressers, you said to the hairdressers, what would you say?
I'd just say, scare me. By a boarding house scrape of butter, it's only just got inside the post.
I don't get it. A boarding house scrape of butter.
You poor thing, I've been using it for about 50 years.
He's an unusual individual. He's afraid of the dark heights. I flew with him once to the Gold Coast, and he's a terrible flyer. And he used to have a Game Boy that kept him sane. And I have to admit, I'm not proud of it, but as he was putting his bag up to top, he put his Game Boy down. So I leaned across and took the batteries out and gave him back the Game Boy. And we were about to take off, and he started looking at it and started hitting it, and beads of sweat started to come down here. So I was going to hang on to them for an hour, but I handed them back across to him and said, "Mate, I can't do this to you." So he's an acquired taste, but we've all acquired it.
He's just the voice of rugby league. Whenever I watch rugby league on the television, it's got to be Rabs as the commentator.
Will it be a perfect storm or a fairy tale come true?
The grand final stands out, the Cowboys grand final for myself. So, yeah, it's when you've got someone that knows so much about the game and has got the voice of rugby league, it's quite special.
He hits it, he's got us! He's got the field goal! He's got the premiership!
If a player knows that Ray Warren's voice is around his performance, then he's been on one of the biggest stages.
The grand final's underway.
He is the most important person in rugby league. To me, he is what big games are. It's our grand finals, our state of origins. He's the voice of our game, and it'll be a sad day that he moves on.
Got to stay here and call the game with me.
I love you dearly. I love the cricket ground. I love rugby league, but that's it. I am not staying here to call the game.
Don't walk off, Ray.
I'm off.
Don't leave
And
me.
taking the binocular.
Don't leave me.
I'm going.
He's a grumpy old man.
I'll second that.
Oh, what a career, the great Ray Rabs Warren. He had a skill like none other. He's the voice of sport across the country. He was welcomed into everyone's household. It makes you feel like, he was part of the family.
Yeah, he made the game better. He made the game better. As a kid, I remember growing up listening to him call games, and you couldn't wait till one day he got to play and he actually called your games. It was unbelievable.
What was it like for the first time that he called your game?
I can't remember. Probably the most iconic one I remember is in our grand final. Obviously, at the end of the game, he said, "Turn your porch light off now." But there was one particular play. Luke Lewis was going for the try line, and he just couldn't quite get there. And Rab said something like, "He's just pulled up short by a boarding house scrape of butter." Like just that's how close it was. And thankfully, Louis didn't put the ball over the line, and we scored the next play. But things like that I remember.
You had a great relationship, Joey, with him in the commentary box. The two of you got along very well. It was sort of like a bit father-son. You're a little bit cheeky with each other, but you've got a great story about Rabs.
Yeah, as we know, Rabs was a really nervous flyer, so he used to arrange for the hostess or host, whatever.
Person.
Sorry to offend. To bring a shardy out. So he'd always fly at about 11, 12 o'clock. So this time, he usually gets on at 1A, someone's in 1A, so he sits in 2A. Anyway, he gets his shardy, he's all anxious and nervous. Anyway, he's about to have his shardy and the seat reclines and the shardy goes all over him. Rabs is like, "Oh, F, what do you think you're doing?" He said, next thing, all these bouncers came from everywhere. And he said, looks up and they're going, "Hey, man, you don't talk to Snoop Dogg like that." He's going, "Snoop? Who's Snoop Dogg? I've never heard of it." And he said, Snoop comes up, obviously had a few ciggies, the green ones, just cross-eyed, and Rabs is into him. And the bouncer's like, "Man, you got to shut up, or we're going to knock you out." Yeah, Rabs and Snoop. He should have been with Snoop before he got on the plane. He would have been. He would have been really relaxed.
I would have enjoyed that flight further.
What are your memories of it when Rabs was calling games that you were involved in? Do you remember going back and looking at them?
Yeah, like when you go back and watch replays or watch your own games, he is the voice of rugby league, and it's something that we all grew up. Well, we grew up with anyway. And when you think about Ray Warren, like you heard the guys just speak about it then. He is the game. When he calls it, he knew when to bring it down, he knew when to talk it up, and he just had that little bit extra to make it more exciting.
That one, Greg,
but it's Dale Shearer's breaking record. When I broke this record here, Dale Shearer's.
Inglis. I think he's got another one.
See?
He's equal Dale Shearer's
So this
record.
hearing that is just, get you out of your seat. If you're sitting at home, get you up in the living room and cheering. It's just his voice and his excitement to actually bring you into the game.
I love the one when you scored the try with South Sydney, when you that front on camera and you did the go-winner.
Yes, yeah.
I think the call when we won the grand final in '97 is the one that sort of stands out, the way he calls it, and heard it a million times since then. But it just triggers so many great emotions and feelings when this happened.
And won the grand final.
Just that voice. See, back in the day when it first started, there was only 1 or 2 games on TV. And usually back then it was either Canberra or Brisbane. So to get the opportunity at Newcastle when we play a Friday night and hear Rabs calling your name, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Just the best. There'll never be another one.
He also had a great sense of humour, wasn't, scared of having some fun. We've got some vision here of him in a wetsuit.
You must have been cold that day.
So that was in Japan. But he also, I don't know, a lot of people have speak about him in rugby league, but
ripped.
But also calling the swimming. It was having his voice go from rugby league to the swimming, and you would not have. It was seamless.
There would never be another Rabs, without a doubt. Susie O'Neill's 200-metre swim was a big one, I think. He called that one. So it was an amazing talent, and as I said, there'll never be another Rabs.
Yeah, well, let's have a listen to your favourite memory of Rabs.
Behind Gallen. Maloney got through. Maloney's to the 20. Lewis will slide over Willie. Is there a double movement? Is he short? He's short. What about that? A boarding house scrape of butter. So Gallen, scrum base play, Barber. Barber scores. Gallen went to the blind side out of the pack.
Some great memories.
Great memories, yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Rabs has called time on his commentary career, but he will still be very much involved in the Wide World of Sports broadcasts as well going forward. So, not sure whether have you spoken to him, Joey? Well,
I think he's working on a film clip with Snoop.
I'll tune into that one. All right, let's check in. Joel Kane is in the studio for Sportsbet.
Thank you, Danica. He once said to me, Rabs, he said, light and shade be governed by the crowd. He said, if the crowd's up, you're up. He said, if they're not, don't be a lunatic. Calm down, he said. The great Rabs, what a career. And all the best to Matty Thompson too. He'll absolutely nail it. This state of origin here, look at the prize. I can tell you this.